give you feedback if you can see and hear me clearly. My name is Dmitry. I work with SOLARGROUP, and I wanted to share with you, with everyone, today's webinar in English of SOLARGROUP and Duyunov's Motors project. We will talk about two parts, one financial and one investment and technological part of the project, and explain to you what are the benefits of being a partner, being an investor in the project, how you can make profit out of it, earn on affiliation program, or earn on dividends and sales of shares in the future once the company will undergo reorganization and become a joint stock company. I'm just checking if we are already live also in Facebook. And by the way, in case you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment in the chat. Leave your question in the chat, and then we can explain, we can share your question, and I can reply. Please note that I can only reply the question which is within my field of competence. Therefore, I can reply only questions which for which I know the exact answers. Otherwise, I will let you know who from management or from our partner company can reply with exactly this question. Let's wait 1 more minute, and at 7 p.m. Moscow time, we will start the webinar. Okay, I think it's time right now. So let me introduce myself. My name is Dmitriy Maksimenko. I'm the speaker for English webinars of SOLARGROUP and Duyunov's Motors project in English. We'll talk about financial part of the project and investment part, and we'll talk about technical part of the project of the company SOLARMASH. We'll talk about our partner company ASPP Weihai in China. We'll talk about dealers in Russia and in other parts of the world. And we'll discuss how you can benefit, benefit from being a partner, being an investor in this project, how you can earn in this project, what is required of you, or how you can promote this project anywhere, being anywhere in the world, in any location, in any country, and speaking any language. So we'll speak, let's start. About the induction motors. Induction motor is a motor used, is an electric machine for transforming, of course, electric energy into mechanical one. Nowadays, just huge numbers of electric and induction motors used everywhere in the world, including in industry, in aviation, in heavy machinery, heavy duty machinery, in pumps, in household appliances. Even your mobile phone has a small electric motor inside, which vibrates when you have the messages arriving. So it's used in all spheres and sectors of our everyday life. There are more than 10,000 types of induction motors out there in the world. 7 billion motors are annually produced and undergo overhaul, and 60 more motors are being haven't undergone modernization in the last 60 years. So you can imagine a lot of these motors are already outdated, produced with the old technology, with dirty technology, let's put it this way, and also produced using the energy efficiency classes I1 and I2. And nowadays, the highest efficiency classes is class I3 and class IE4, which is the next step in induction motors. 60% of the world electrical energy is consumed by induction motors nowadays, and if we consider more than 140 billion inhabitants of Russia, there are 12 induction motors per each citizen of Russia. Or we can put it that 82 billion volt electric motors fleet right now, out of which 80% is already needs to be modernized, needs to be improved. As I mentioned, it's actually applied everywhere, in all industry, in agriculture, in transport, in military, in civil aviation, in civil application, urban infrastructure, in many, many sectors of our daily lives. Entertainment, trade, you name it. So in all of the sectors, we need electric motors with different dimensions, different characteristics, different power outputs, and using different technology. And exactly, Dmitriy Alexandrovich Duyunov is the author and developer of this technology with a combined winding Slavyanka. Combined winding, we'll talk about on the next slides about it. It's a combination of two winding approaches, the delta and star windings. And he is also one of the founders of the research and production enterprise called ASNPP. This is a Russian business company. Also is the holder of the patents for development of this technology. So this engineer has been working since 1995 already on this technology, on the research and developments of this new and best-in-class and unique motor. In the world, there are no other company which is producing this kind of induction motor using this type of technology without any permanent magnets. We'll talk about this part later. So he's really the main, one of the key persons in the SOLARGROUP company, who's taking care of this research, taking care of moving the project forward, and taking care of also realization of this engineering bureau, which is planned to be constructed in the following couple of years. As I mentioned, combined winding technology, Slavyanka, is the combination of two windings. Where you have the motor, you have windings in terms of delta and star put together. They improve the power output. They increase the energy efficiency of this motor. And actually, the great help is that you can take the old motor, the used motor, you can dismantle it, and you can use this technology, you can use the license from SOLARGROUP company in order to modernize already existing motor, take it from the electric car or normal car, and rewire it, prepare the new electric motor with the combined winding according to Dmitriy Duyunov's patents. And actually, what are the advantages of using such type of electric motor? First, you save electric energy up to 40%. You reduce the motor production cost by 30%, and we'll talk about this later, how we do it, how we managed actually to obtain such a decrease in terms of cost. It has improved service factor, improved reliability. It's now 2.5 instead of 1.5 in normal electric motors. It's also reduced noise and vibration level by up to 30%. And as I mentioned, it's according to, it's up to standards of i3 and i4 electric motors. So it's best in class, best in the industry electric motor in terms of energy efficiency and technical characteristics. It has increased starting torque. It goes just from the start, and we have a lot of partners with prototypes, a lot of partners already commercializing this technology in China, in Russia, in India, using these motors, and also reducing inrush current by up to 35%. So it's really, really improved the characteristics of the motor comparing to normal electric induction motor. How the combined winding is applied? First, there is the possibility to rewind, repair, and modernize the standard type of electric motors. So if the customer has already used or already other type of electric motor, it can bring it to SOLARGROUP, and all licensed winding specialists of SOLARGROUP network, and they will rewire, they will modernize, they will put their own winding, and it will work much, much better than before. So it has been already commercially successful because SOLARGROUP already has, an ASPP company already has these licensed winding specialists working in Russia and outside of Russia too. And as it's written here, results is 30% higher efficiency as compared to prior to modernization. So we have a lot of patents talking about this application of this technology. Patents have been registered in Intellectual Property Register in Russian Federation. It will be valid also abroad. So it means that ASPP company is the only author, the only holder of this patent. So anywhere in the world, if you want to use this technology, you need to first go to ASPP company, ask them for the license, and after the granting of such license, you can only then start to replicate, to modernize your electric motors using this technology. So we already thought about, of course, our copyright, our intellectual property rights. As I've mentioned, we have licensed winding specialists. More than 100 companies and private entrepreneurs already are using this license in order to modernize existing electric motors with the Slavyanka type electric motors windings for commercial purposes. And a lot of customers already used this possibility and modernized the electric motor to have the new type electric motor for their vehicles, for their bikes, etc., etc. We have lots of environmental issues right now in the world, and actually, what we need to understand is that a lot of factories are actually polluting into the air, into the waters, into the land, the harmful components, and a lot of energy is produced by the motors working at this type of factories. This type of factories, of course, using the old let's say fossil fuel in order to burn them to have electric energy generation, or be it other types of power plants, they still use electric motors to generate electric power, which is used in industry, it's used in homes, and so on. So if you just conserve maybe 10, 15, 20% of electric energy, and you have high energy efficiency electric motors working in this type of plants, in this type of power generation units, then you can already see that these harmful effects will be decreased by considerable amount. So we will have positive effect on our planet, on our global environment, and global climate change as well. 80% of all electric motors used today in our world have low energy efficiency class, and our motor is has highest energy efficiency class, is I3 and I4 efficiency classes. As I mentioned, just consider that once we have decreased by some small percentage the harmful effect, it will already be felt by our planet, and this generation and our future generations will say thanks for this technology, because it can help conserve the environment, can help improve the air, the water, the land of the global environment nowadays. Regarding the environmental issues, so we can help solve one of the main world's environmental issues. And demand for such electric motors is high, and as you know, a lot of countries require nowadays all the producers to use the highest energy efficiency classes in their production. It's I3 and I4. You can compare it to the automotive vehicles. Before it was in Europe, for example, it was Euro 0, Euro 1, Euro 2, Euro 3. Now the factory can only produce the car with maybe Euro 5, Euro 6 and more, and hybrid car or electric vehicle. Some of the countries already mentioned that they want to have electric vehicles implemented more and more by 2030. So we are going within this global trend of having better energy efficiency of the technology used to generate power, generate electricity. So it's a huge market. Lots of motors are produced on an annual basis. And when we started this project, this crowd investing project back in 2017, now just 3 years later, a lot of more millions and millions of motors have been produced everywhere in the world. And it means that with each day we have the more customer base, the more possibility to approach the market, and the more possibility for the market to have the new and more power, more energy efficient motors. for the market to satisfy the growing requirements by the legislation and the growing requirements by the global environmentalist movements. Now the advantages is the smaller size, the same size and weight as the old type electric motors, such as EA1 and EA2. It saves capacity up to 30% by using this combined winding together, delta and star together, and the lower cost, as I mentioned. Our motors, they don't use permanent magnets, and they just use iron, electric, steel, and copper. It means that the permanent magnets can only be sourced from China mostly, and that China during the last several years they've have imposed some limits to exportation of this material, and this material is mostly mostly available in China. Therefore, if you don't produce in China, it means you're out of reach. You don't have the access to this material, so you cannot organize your production domestically and not be dependent on this other supplier, which is located in China. So you only can move your production in China. But in our case, you can organize your production domestically in any country with just electric steel and copper. You can organize the production of this combined winding electric motors, induction motors, by Mr. Dmitry Duyunov. Actually, right now, 20 patents have been already obtained for this technology. It has already been documented in the intellectual property register in Russia. You can double check this information online. You can go to the back office and review all the patents. It's in Russian, and the summary is made also available in English. So you can double check that it's all this information is working, and these patents are valid. So it means that substantial scientific work has already been done to date, and even before the start of the project in 2017, Mr. Dmitry Duyunov and his team already worked very, very hard in order to make research, approach these universities, make the independent tests, laboratory tests, and to test actually the motors, the first motors in the prototypes, and have the excellent outcome. And for example, laboratories and universities in Germany, in Italy, and in Russia have all confirmed the excellence and the great characteristics of these motors. And fourth university is the university in Thailand, in Bangkok, has also confirmed the results of the testing of such motors, because it's already very much required by the Asian market, by such countries as China, Thailand, South Korea, of course, India as well, and a lot of electric vehicles are being developed and introduced into those markets, as well as such kind of vehicles such as rickshaw, tuk-tuks, and bikes, and other types of electric vehicles with solar panels, without solar panels, and I will explain later which we have already a special guest coming this Sunday, talking about the combination of our electric motors with solar panel technology to have the never plug-in system installed. We have tested lots of prototypes, including this first Russian electric car called Zeta, equipped with hub motors. We have tested this motor with trolleybus in Kiev, also the mining electric locomotive, as well as electric bicycles, and we have tested the generator for Kamaz Master, this heavy truck, which is participating in lots of rallies around the world, and of course in hub motors, and of course in some medical applications for wheelchairs. So you can see the spread of different products already using this technology. Thanks also to our dealers and our partners in China, in India, in Russia. Each of them are doing their own work, their own improvement, and their own comments and feedbacks, which they deliver back to the company, whether something needs to be improved, changed, and we have always the feedback from the market, from the real and final customer, in order to take into consideration also their ideas, their thoughts about the final products. But so far, we have had the Electric Day 2020 also just a couple of weeks ago, just 2 weeks ago. It was last Sunday, and Mr. Andrei Lobov, who is the director of a steam company in Russia, already demonstrated his sleigh based on Duyunov's motor, his motor dog and motorized dog, and his motor mule dumper, as well as some electric bikes have been demonstrated also during that festival. You can easily find it online, Electro Day 2020. Just you can use the YouTube search, or you can go to the official channels of Solar Group and Duyunov's Motors in YouTube and just see. It will be, this channel has already reviews of this festival online. So we're all happy to have had the opportunity to demonstrate also our technology to wide public in Moscow in this couple of days, a couple of weeks ago. Hub Motors has been another very, very popular product implemented thanks to its increased power output, its reliability, its travel distance, which can be compared with a very, very better characteristics comparing to BLDC motor, normal BLDC motor. It has simple design. It's waterproof. It has lower price than these similar examples from the other technologies. So it's a great example how you can just take this technology and use it even in hub motor application in the bike, electro scooters, and other types of vehicles out there for electric field. So on this slide, you have the comparison of the types of hub motors with Slavyanka winding and with permanent BLDC magnets. So with Slavyanka winding, you don't have the recuperation of energy. With its recuperation of energy is actually, it has high efficiency comparing to BLDC magnets. It performs much better, maintains the torque at any revolutions, at any RPMs. So right from the start, you have the great torque, the great starting torque, and controllable overload capacity dependent on the current. And it's very, very reliable actually motor. After our partner has been testing for example, electric sleigh called Yemelia sleigh in last year in the Ethno Park in Russia. It has been used for 3 months period, and Mr. Andrei Lobov shared with us that this motor has not had any sign of overheating or any problems whatsoever, even though it took this sleigh with 5, 6, 7 people together and gave them a ride. And under this load, it has the chassis of the old Russian vehicle and maybe 1,500 kilograms of weight altogether, and it did not have any sign of problems. So it has really been reliable. It has really demonstrated itself very, very highly. Its availability, thanks to its lower cost, it's much more easy to produce rather than hub motor with permanent BLDC magnets, because we don't use these permanent magnets. We just use, as I've mentioned, electric steel and copper. So with these two components and with the license from Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov's company, you have the ability to replicate, to use this technology in order to modernize or in order to produce from scratch the new electric motor, the new induction motor. And you have a motor which costs less, which performs much better than BLDC motor, and has higher power output characteristics comparing to normal induction motor. And we'll talk about also whether you can buy it or not, as many of you maybe are wondering. But let's first speak about some hub motors which have been used for electric bicycles, for this Russian electric car Zeta, with different power outputs of 10 kilowatts, 20 kilowatts, and 27 kilowatts for electric scooters, as well as hub motor was used for wheelchair with electric attachment. Renault Twizy used also Slavyanka electric motor. And last year in Moscow, during the Moscow International Conference, it was demonstrated as well, the both Renault Twizy and some other vehicles, such as Pikman car from Motorized Systems Company in Russia, which some of the participants of the conference could test drive right there at the spot. So it has already been exhibited in Monaco as well. And 4x4 Ikangu has been using also Slavyanka-based electric motor. And there are some videos also available in the back office or on the official channels. Also, a trolleybus in Ukraine was demonstrated with Slavyanka electric motor, which has become more dynamic, more cost-effective, thanks to the introduction and modernization of its electric motor, which had been used previously. As well as electric locomotive, it's called ERA. It used Slavyanka-based electric motor as well. And before modernization, it could only pull 5 full load cars, and after modernization, it could pull twice this load, twice the capacity, twice the load. It could already pull the 11 full load cars, so it's more than twice. It has become twice more powerful than before. Speaking about the mass production, thanks to our partner, Mr. Viktor Arestov in China, in Weihai, it's Shandong province of China, and his company has been very actively involved in this project, including also the start of the production a couple of years back of these electric motors. 4 of them are presented here on this slide. The 2 smaller ones, DA90S, DA100S, and 2 bigger ones, DA100SL and DA112SL, for the larger vehicles, for the light commercial vehicles of bigger capacity. And the smaller vehicles, smaller motors are used for to be installed on bikes, on small electric cars and small pickup cars as well. So on his website, as-pp.asia, and I will put it later on in the chat as well, so you can copy paste it. All of these motors are presented. You can get directly into contact with him, with Mr. Viktor Arestov, and you can actually negotiate whether you want to become a dealer, distributor, or whether you want to just buy the motor for your own use. It's not connected with Solar Group project, so this is this separate company which already is producing these motors based on Slavyanka technology from Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov's company, but it's a separate standalone company which can be, you can work with that company in order to bring into your market, in your own country, this technology, if you want to. It's up to you, of course. You can test it, you can just take these motors, put it on your vehicles which you're using currently. You can modernize some vehicles, or you can find a customer or a plant, a factory, which are producing the electric motors. You can offer it to them. It's just an idea. So there are motors based on this technology already can be purchased, can be distributed in your own countries, and you can approach directly the partner company ASPP Weihai in China and speak about the more details in terms of price, in terms of conditions, and all the other commercial terms. Already our partner company Molnio in Russia delivered the 2 prototypes, Pikman car with DA90S motor and Rush bike with DA90S motor in Russia. It's also available. It can be purchased by this company Molnio. I think it's molnio.com. You can easily search and find it. Then we have other partners. It's company STIN, which have introduced already in the market very, very interesting, let's say, species of products, such kind of products such as motorized dog, such as motor mule, such as electric sleigh, and of course the producer is ASPP company, which we talked about earlier, located in China. So the Russian company, Solmash company, takes care of the development and design of the new electric motors. It does not produce motors on a mass scale today. The plan for the future is, first of all, to set up this engineering and design innovative bureau in Russia in order to later be able to satisfy the customer's orders for the development of such motors, and later the customer can produce in their own production facilities these types of motors anywhere in the world it can be located. But the main part of the SOLMAS activity is concentrated around the development, around the testing, around the bringing to the market and to the client this technology, around the spreading, distributing the license in order to build such motors, and not mass producing it yet. So you can imagine that the margin for this activity is much, much higher than being a producer, because for producer, you mean to have the production line. It means a lot of operational costs, a lot more employees. You need to have the larger facilities. You need to produce, I don't know, hundreds of thousands motors per year. And this is not a goal. This is not the idea of development, at least at this point in time, for SOLMAS company. And the idea and the goal I will explain a little bit on the next slides when we'll talk about this. What is the purpose of this fundraising? What is the purpose actually of constructing this engineering bureau in Russia, exactly in a free economic area called Technopolis, Moscow? As I mentioned, in 2017, the crowd investment project started up, and it's planned to be completed by 2020, but we'll see with the pandemic, the plans can be modified a little bit. We need to just stay and follow the announcements, official announcements from SOLARGROUP.pro website by Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov himself, or the management of SOLARGROUP company and SOLMAS company, about the actually at which stage right now is the project in terms of financing, in terms of realization, in terms of construction of this engineering bureau. Right now, we're of course in stage number 14 out of 20. It means we have already more than half. We've already realized more than half of the project in terms of financing and in terms of preparation to the construction. On the 15th of July 2020, we have already started the preparation for construction works. Many of you have seen the video with the excavator just planning the leveling the ground in the land plot of Sovelmash in Zelenograd. So it means that construction works have been already started, and as it was announced by Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov, by May 2022, we have already planned out all activities month by month, what should happen next, what will happen in September, in October this year, in the end of this year, in all of the months of 2021, and the same till the May 2022, when we'll have completed the planned completion for the construction and planned passage of the documents to the authorities, to the committee, who will give the green light, who will give the final approval that this engineering center is ready, can be put into operation. It means that all the employees can enter their workplaces and start doing all their everyday activities in order to perform their tasks. Right now, the goal is to attract 50 million US dollars in order to complete the financing requirements for the project. And already following Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov's announcements, more than half, or actually we need to ask him exactly at this point how many financing, how much funds have been already attracted to date, not including the installments, because installments, as you know, they can be in 10 months, 15 months, 20 months period. But talking about today, I don't have the up-to-date information, but we can always ask Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov, and he has the webinars every Thursday now. And from time to time, it's announced. Usually this information is announced on the international conferences, talking about a number of investments, talking about at which point we are in terms of fundraising and so on. So crowd investing, why we chose this method? So actually Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov and his team, back in 2017, when they first started discussing the possibility of how we are going to attract funds, how we're going to actually cover all our goals, to our objectives in order to have financing. Several methods have been considered. First of all, some major investor participation was considered as well, of course, but a major investor always wants or the company, investment fund or bank or some large corporation can enter into the capital of the company, but it means that the company's control will be overtaken by this major investor. So he will want maybe 80%, maybe 90% or more of the shares of the company, of the SOLARMASH, and the management, including Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov and the management of the company, will only have the remaining 10% or less of the control of the company. So it means they can change the director, they can change the strategy of the company, they can even decide to sell the company to the larger player, and we don't know what else, right? So the crowd investing is the way to invest, to raise the funds, and not to be dependent on one party or 2 or 3 or 5 parties, because you have the spread, let's say, of private investors across all the countries we have investors from, and across all the industries, and we have small shares held by each of the individual investor. So in this case, we don't have the risk that the strategy of the company will be altered, will be modified, and it will go into other direction than decided by Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov and his team. And in this case, management will maintain its control, maintain its main focus on the company's activities, and also in terms of distribution of dividends, in terms of development of the company. In our opinion, it's much better to have it this way and not be dependent on just one large player, investment company, for example. So there are 2 options for the investor in the future. First, he can of course get dividends from the shares which he or she holds, and second, of course, he can sell his share at a higher price in the stock market or in an internal exchange once it will be launched. And as it was mentioned several times during our webinars, the internal exchange is planned to be launched right after all the financing of the project will have been completed, and when no new packages will be sold to the partners. So it's logical, right? Because when you don't sell any more shares, then these investors can buy and sell these pre-IPO shares, these shares of SOLARGROUP company between them. And it has already been announced that the SOLARGROUP company itself can organize the buyback of some portion of the shares, and we just need to stay tuned and see the announcements of the company once it will happen in the future. But there is also such possibility. So there are these options. Of course, as I mentioned, goal of attracting investment is to construct the SOLARMASH Engineering Center, which will take care to develop electric motors applied in various fields. Right now, we have a dozen of potential customers with whom SOLARMASH already entered into negotiations. The names, of course, are private and confidential at this stage. It has not been yet announced due to non-disclosure agreement. You can understand that, of course, before the realization of actually the project, no one will agree to disclose the names of the potential clients to the public. But in the future, it means we don't need to go out in the market and have a sales manager calling the potential customers, but we already have several customers, let's say, in the line, just waiting until the investment engineering center will be put into operation, and to whom we can start offering and providing the services of development of electric motors in the future. So, as I mentioned, mechanism of attracting investment is crowd investing, which this mechanism and legislation for this mechanism, as considering that it's a relatively new approach to raise the capital in Europe, in Russia, in many different countries, then it means that we took the alternative approach. We have the SOLARGROUP company, which is not in the jurisdiction of Russian Federation, but under jurisdiction of English law, and it means that the investor is more secured in this way, while the have these investment shares, because Russian legislation is not yet very clear about this crowd investing, how it works, because it has a separate, of course, laws regulating the joint stock companies. But in joint stock companies, you need to doing it by the book. You need to arrive at the company, you need to buy a share, you need to document it, and it's different and much more bureaucratic process to go through. In this case, the company organized it in such a way to benefit the smallest private investor, who can just, starting from $50, start his or her participation in the company, become a co-owner of the future enterprise, of the Russian enterprise SOLARGROUP, which will become a joint stock company, and your pre-IPO shares will be exchanged to these shares of the joint stock company in the future. And we'll have another slide explaining about the capital structure as of now and capital structure what will be also in the future. Considering the number of stages, we are on stage 14, as you know right now. So with each stage, the risk of being in the project, risk of investing into the project actually decreases step by step, and discount decreases too, and the price, on the contrary, increases step by step. So the closer you get to the end of the financing of the project, the higher is the price of the package, the higher is the price for pre-IPO share, and the goal estimated by the company is to arrive at $1 per share price. But we will see. It depends on the bids and asks of the individual investors, of course. Nobody have a magic ball to see in the future and say, okay, it will be this or that price. We'll just need to wait and see. But for sure, absolutely, we can estimate that it will be higher, much higher than today's pre-IPO share price sold by the back office. By the back office today at this stage number 14. In the groups, it was distributed the new table, new spreadsheet regarding the stage 14's prices. These are outdated prices. So you have the packages starting from $500 package up to $3,000 package and more, not mentioned here, $5,000 and more dollars packages. And each package, you can take it as a one-off payment, or you can spread it. You can split it into 10 months, you can split it into 15 or even 20 months period. So it's not so high burden on you, on the wallet, on your possibility to availability of funds each month, right? So with each just $50, you can become a co-owner investor. And the great advantage here in this project is, imagine you paying month by month. So after paying, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, something happens with your economic situation and you cannot pay the following month, number 6 and 7 and so on. So whichever shares which you already paid for remain your own property. Nobody will take it away from you. It means that it will not be freezed or in some way hidden from you. So you will continue to be the owner of these shares. And once you have the ability to continue paying the installments, you just need to contact the support team via the online chat, via the WhatsApp or Telegram groups, or by email, and saying this, my name is this and that, and my email is this, and please reactivate my package. It means that after 1 or 2 months, your situation improved and you can restart paying your installments on time, and then you accumulate these funds on your account, and you can ask support to reactivate your package in order to go on with your package and to restore it and go on with all the installments. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Otherwise, please write me in chat regarding this passage if it's not clear. What is the purpose of investing? As I mentioned, you have two options to go exit options. Option number 1 is to get dividends, because 50% of the company's profits are planned to be distributed among the shareholders of the company once the profits will be generated by the engineering center. And we plan by 2022 actually to have the engineering center put into operation after the authorities give their own approval. It means that 2022 is planned to be the first year of generation of profits by this new engineering center, and 2023 is planned to be the first year of paying out of dividends to the shareholders. And the second option is to sell the share at a high price, of course. So once the company will be on the stock exchange, will be on officially quoted or listed stock exchange, you can buy using the brokerage services, buy your own shares or portion of your shares to a third party, to the company or private individual, or to the company itself, depending on the market price, depending on the market conditions. Okay. Hope it's clear too. Investor, by investing into the Solar Group shares, he gets two things. He gets certificate for the shares, which he can download. He can also order it to be sent to his home by mail with a postage fee. You can, of course, download it free of charge by the back office. And you have the investment agreement. Investment agreement, please look at it very carefully. It has all the clauses about what is the share, what is the investment, what are the rights and obligations of investor and rights obligations of the company. Okay, so it's in both languages, in Russian and English. So at least the English language has the same validity. So please carefully you can read through it. So you need to understand that you are protected by this agreement till the point by the time that the company will, the SolMash company will become a joint stock company, then you will be protected also by the joint stock companies legislation in Russia. Once you will become the shareholder of the Russian joint stock company SolMash in the future. Hope it's clear too. What are the partners of the company? I've already mentioned this company is mentioned here. ASMPP is the Russian company who is author and the holder of the combined mining technology Slavyanka. It's research and production enterprise who holds the patents, who is actually giving out the licenses to licensed mining specialists who can use the technology everywhere in the world. There is a SolMash taking care of development of these induction motors. And there is Solar Group. Solar Group is taking care of organizing these fundraising activities, organizing webinars, organizing activities, offline and online meetings, organizing the communication back and forth from the SolMash company to investors and vice versa. So whenever you have the question to SolMash, you can contact the support of Solar Group and to its management. It will be transferred to the management of SolMash, because we have, of course, close relations, as 49.5% of SolMash is owned by Solar Group Limited company. I think it's clear too. Please write in chat if everything is okay, because if you're a newcomer, I think it's quite some number of information, new information to be considered. As you see here, the company SolMash, out of 100% of share capital, is distributed as follows. So the 40% is owned by ASMPP, the Russian enterprise company. 10.5% is owned by the management of the company SolMash, and 49.5% is owned by Solar Group Limited company. It means all of the investors who bought the pre-IPO shares of Solar Group companies enter into this number, enter into this 49.5% as a collective investor. So we're all part of this 49.5% inside the capital of SolMash Russian company. Talking about the profits, I've mentioned that the profits are going to be generated by providing the development services to the customer of SolMash company by SolMash Engineering Bureau in Russia. And then by handing the documentation to the customer can apply it, can use this documentation to build the production or to set up the new production of induction motors developed by SolMash company. So SolMash will just develop the motors, maybe produce the batch, just the test some test party of the motors, just limited version, limited series, and that's it. Then it will hand over all the documents to the customer, and the customer will continue his way in terms of production, in terms of distributing of these motors based on this technology, and it will be fully covered by intellectual property and of SOLMAS. And on average, such kind of order can be amounted up to $50 million. And just already, as I mentioned, SOLMAS company has dozens of customers who the company has signed the partnership agreements with. So it means we already have in mind several companies with whom we can already provide such kind of services. So talking about the future potential turnover of the company, SOLMAS, we might develop from 1 to 10 motors per year, dependent on the complexity of the requirements, because the motor can be different in size, different weight, different in power output requirements. And based on that, we can develop from 1 to 10 motors per each year. And considering that the average order can be amounted to $50 million US dollars, you can just have a rough estimate what can be the total turnover of the company within 1 year. And actually, as we repeat from webinar to webinar, there have been great examples in the world, in the modern economic history of the last 10, 20, 30 years, with such now giants such as Microsoft, Google, Apple, and other companies whose market capitalization just struck through the roof, as they say, and increased from just tens of times to hundreds of times to thousands of times to millions of times. It means if you have the $1 per share for Apple, in 38 years time, you have the share costing the share price of around $69,000. So imagine if you invested into Google, for example, 10 years ago, just $1,000, multiply it 10,000 times. What would be your worth in terms of this portfolio of shares of Google shares today after these 10 years? So it might happen the same with SOLMAS. We need to see, of course, the market situation, but there's a bright future ahead. Of course, everything investment involves risk, so you need to have your own decision. We just providing the information which you can double check, you can make up your own mind, and with a clear head, you can consider all the favors or other considerations, and not to put all eggs in one basket, as we say, but just consider diversifying your portfolio, not to have all the assets in real estate or to have it in cash, but to have some portion in investment, including in long-term investment, which will benefit you and your family in the long-term financial health in the future, in my opinion. So the project has been developing for more than 3 years now. It has already over 200,000 participants from 116 of world countries and counting. We have over 14,000 investors. Now it's the amount is bigger even, and over 15 million US dollars in crowd investments. It means that we already have attracted more than 15 million US dollars out of 50 million total target of financing. Please consider that 50 million we will need to attract, including also installments, and this 50 million is don't consider these installments, because installments go, you pay as you go. So if you have the 10 months and you pay the half, we only consider the half today, and of course we need to wait till you have paid out all the installments in the future to calculate how much investments have been actually attracted, right? So many of you will ask, okay, what have you done with this already invested, already attracted funds? First of all, we have equipped our laboratory, test bench equipment. We have bought the machinery. We are preparing for the construction. It's also the capital intensive works that will be needed to be performed. So it means we already have prepared very good to the start of the preparation, to the start of construction, and in the future we'll just do it step by step. As I've mentioned, there is already the spreadsheet available in Russian. The spreadsheet will be also available in English. In terms of month by month, it will be written which will be the tasks planned and tasks accomplished by the SOLMASH company from today, from August 2020, sorry, already September 2020 till May 2022. It means we already have a clear plan in our mind, on the paper, in the offices, and all the team is in sync right now to arrive at that final goal, to have the engineering bureau constructed, to have it put into operation, and everything that will need to go as planned. Also, thanks to your collaboration and support in terms of installments, in terms of your monthly payments as of today. We have already obtained the stage certification of the laboratory last year. It means that any results of the laboratory which performed in this laboratory by SOLMASH company are valid both in Russia and abroad with this certificate. So it's great news for the company. It means we reached the good level of approval by the state as well. Also in 2019, we have obtained the status of resident of the special economic area called Technopolis Moscow, which is just located outside of Moscow in a city called Zelenograd. Zelenograd is famous for its innovative businesses located there, for its tax advantages, for this special economic area. It has even its own customs office there. It has access to the highly trained and skilled professionals, the newly graduates. It has also great transport infrastructure. And of course, the company received the rent of a land plot of 2.1 hectares here of this green area, nice green area, which will be less green, but more in construction works in the following months. But it has a great, as I mentioned, tax incentives, convenient transport infrastructure, and so on. So this is the great location. And another great advantage that after the completion of the construction of this bureau, the company will have the ability to buy out this land plot with just 1% of its value, of its market value. And you can say, you can just consider that the both market capitalization and the assets, according to accounting of the company, will greatly increase, because we'll have this as additional goodwill, as additional revaluation in terms of, because right now we are paying just the rent payments for this plot, and then after the completion, we'll be able to buy it out, but with very highly advantageous price in the future, which is another great advantage. Also in 2019, the audit of financial statements of SOLMASH company has been successfully completed. It means that we have passed the audit examination with no critical feedback from the third party, from the independent auditors from Moscow. So it has been confirmed the company maintains its accounting up to and in compliance with the law, in compliance with the local regulations and accounting standards in Russia, which is another great sign of good operations of the company and its management. New patents have been obtained also during the last several months. It has been put into intellectual property register in Russia under the company SOLMASH, of course. We have also in-house developed the electric controller for combined winding electric motors. We are already in negotiation, of course, with the different parties from Weihai, which is a province in China, and with other international partners. And you can find a lot of information on the back office. We have news coming out almost every day in English and 19 other languages: Russian, German, Bulgarian, Italian, Spanish, and many languages in the world. So you can you can benefit from it. You can give this information out in your groups, in your chats, share it to other partners. distribute it in your own social networks together with the referral link, and just benefit from the affiliation program, which of course we are having in the Sol group. Also, just in case for the plan B, let's put it this way. In case the company, due to any reason, will be underfinanced, there's already the contingency plan in place, meaning that the company will have the agreement with a major investor who will provide the additional fund if needed to the company. So the requirement fund, if in case this financing will not be attracted, it will be given by this third party with whom SOLMAS have already negotiations previously. So this is the Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov with his son, Mr. Evgeny Duyunov. He's also actively involved in the operational activity of the company. It's a kind of dynasty and growing, and also some workers, some employees of the SOLMAS company, together with some partners from India, during their meeting with potential customers last year. Some of the agreement, some of the results, of course, remain confidential for non-disclosure agreements. As I mentioned, just with $50, you can also share this information to your teams. Just with $50 per month, you can be co-owner of the future Russian enterprise, innovative technological enterprise, which is planned to start its operation fully in 2022 or even earlier, depending on the economic situation and conditions of the construction and so on. So it has lower barrier to entry, because if you consider just being, for example, professional investor or maybe forex trader or so on, mainly you would need from $1,000 to more and more funds in order to start, in order to have starting capital. If you want to open up your own franchise company, maybe you will need $100,000 to start, depending from country to country, from industry to industry. But no company, in my opinion, have the given you the possibility to both take care of the affiliation program and just to enter and become the co-owner of the future enterprise with relatively low risks, with just starting from $50 per month installment. You can participate, of course, from any country of the world. It's enough to have just internet connection to start to put your data, to validate your account in the back, to validate your idea in the back office. The company is very, very attentive to these matters because it's following the KYC, the Know Your Customer policy, as any other investment company would do. It's very important for us because in the future, once we need to substantiate, once we need to, let's say, approve and pass to the joint stock company, we'll need to give all the details with your consent, of course, to the third party, to the registry company, which will need to prove that this company, this person has this number of shares. It has, so that's why some of you have had some hardships with verification. In this case, please write directly in support in case your account is still not verified due to any reason. Sometimes when you upload the document is not straight, it's tilted or has low quality or low resolution. Everything can happen, but please stay positive and just contact your support or your sponsor, and he or she will help you to resolve any such kind of issue. Of course, you have the opportunity to buy the investment package by the installments. As I mentioned, you can spread the payment to 10 months, to 15 or 20 months, and you can, of course, your income potentially can exceed the hundreds times the invested amount, and potentially you can really improve your financial position in the future, in the long term. So it has great attractive points which you can just consider. Again, double check all information, double check your sources. We have the chats. You can speak up your mind freely. Just please don't put the referral link of other projects or even of SOL Group project to be just to be correct to all other participants in the chats. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your participation and active questions to the chats, to our WhatsApp groups. Thank you for your support. Thank you for newly joined participants from Kuwait. Thank you, Mr. Joe, for organizing also and inviting these newly joined partners from Kuwait. We have partners from all over the world. We have partners, of course, from India, English-speaking partners from South Africa, from UK, from many parts of the world, partners from other countries who also follow webinars in English. So there's a great opportunity. The investment is one of ways to diversify your assets for the long term in the future. It's one of the best ways to take care of your loved ones in the long term, whether you need you have some goal to have some funds in the future for education purposes, for constructing some real estate or some other objectives for pension savings and so on. The investments in the long term, it's one of the things to consider, in my opinion, and to look at, especially nowadays when you see currency is not so stable in now in this world, in any country. And if you buy some, if you are the co-owner of some enterprise which is generating the profit and potentially have the possibility to really make impact in the world's markets and to distribute its technology, its license throughout the world, and really touch all industries of the world, I think it has great potential for growth, both for the company's assets and for its potentially new projects in the future. After the development of the project, the next project could easily be the production of electric motors. But we need to wait and see the official announcement by Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov about this matter. But it was announced it might be the possibility after the completion of financing the project that the second project might as well be the production facility to produce such electric motors on a mass scale. And from this activity, the outcome and potential economic impact might be even higher than from the first one. So I think in case if you have any questions, the contact details, of course, is solargroup.pro. We have WhatsApp and Telegram chats. I can write also my contact of WhatsApp here in chat. Let me also open up the microphone to everyone wishing to maybe have some comment, feedback. Thank you for your attention, kind attention, and thank you for being in this webinar. So I opened up my microphone. You can share your ideas, even if you have a question. Thank you, Mr. Anil Kumar, for your words. Good evening to you too. I wanted also to make an announcement this Sunday on 6th of September at 6:30 p.m. India time. We're going to host the special guest, Dr. Lu Tao, who is the director of Energy Glory company in China. He is the very important partner of ASPP, very high technology company in China, because they collaborate together and they have been putting plans to produce jointly, or actually based on the technology from ASPP, based on technology from Mr. Dmitriy Duyunov, and on the platform of Energy Glory company, to start the production of golf cars with electric motors, Slavyanka motors, and using the solar panels installed on top, which will help to run without plugging it. It's called never plug-in technology, which means that you just go free with this golf car without necessity to have the electric plug anywhere near the car. So you just go on. Yes, Joachim, thank you. Mr. Joe, hello, good evening. Please, sir, if you wanted to give any feedback or question or to comment anything, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. It was a good information.
Sorry, can you repeat, please?
Thank you very much, Mr. Dmitry. It was a very informative information you have given for all the people down in Kuwait. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
Appreciate.
Thank you. Appreciate your participation and hope we all can share this info. And actually, if there is any partner interested also to hold maybe some Zoom meetings or even conferences in the Kuwait City or in their location, please feel free to contact we can organize something remotely or organize it there. And,
sure, we will do that. We will try to do that.
Great, great. Thank you very much.
One of my partner is having people in UAE also, Mr. Ashraf.
All right, all right. Great news. Then we can also invite him. Here, Mr. Anil Kumar also. Welcome. Hi. Hello.
There's actually Mr. Dmitry. I am very happy today. First time we are organizing in Kuwait. Actually, okay. I am following your YouTube, English YouTube, that channel. So whenever you live and India also, I comes from India actually. So I am following all your YouTubes. Most of the people who we are inviting, they don't know about all those things. So this is the first time. I hope so. Many people they are connected today. Hopefully next time they will come more. So now actually they don't know. They have no any idea about this project. So now hopefully they will get full information about this company. Hopefully next time increase the number of investors from the Kuwait.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your informative webinar.
Thank you very much. Actually, there are much information, much material. I understand that for a newcomer, it's a lot to take from the first time. So it's we can organize some step-by-step explanations, because the company also have YouTube channels, has a back office where it's all explained, but it's many information, and not everyone enters the back office to read through. So your idea, I like very much your feedback, and thank you for sharing. This is a great opportunity also for the partners to have more. And the company is quite transparent.
If we need any more information, then we will definitely try to contact you.
Okay, great. Thank you very much.
Mr. Dmitry, thank you very much. And still we require some more awareness of the project and the awareness about the technology as well. It is what happens, only we are collecting the fund, but we are not having that much information to aware the people. So it is most important requirement.
You mean about the combined
as Dr. Anil said, so we require more webinars to conduct, to give the more information to the people.
Okay, I understand.
And what happens in the YouTube, few people take granted that it is just a fake videos has been uploaded, and people are looking for that, and the idea goes into another people. It is a negative thoughts. So it's better to have the webinars to conduct and get more people into the webinar. So it will be it will be like an authentication.
And it will be positively understood that there are people who are really doing it.
Actually, great, because today is the 2nd of September. So for everyone watching this, 2nd of September 2020. So we are not uploading the old videos. It's live completely. So it's good. I know there have been some projects which just upload the old videos, and on Solar Group it's not like that.
Yes.
So it's no problem.
Nice talking to you.
Yes, thank you very much, sir. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dmitry, Mr. Dmitry. It was really nice of you doing this webinar for all my people.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going then to conclude. So in case of questions, you can consider also contacting with Mr. Joe right, from your team, and also the other leaders and your national partners, national representatives. So thank you all again greatly for participation in this webinar. We'll continue keeping our work, and on Sunday we'll have again the director of Energy Glory, the company which actually is very actively involved into developing solar panels, solar and energy technology, and they will give maybe great inputs and some explanation how the combination of Duyunov electric motors and solar panels go together, and how you really can a car which runs for 79 days without plugging into electricity. So he will explain to us. And in case you have questions, please feel free to write in chat.
That would be very nice. When is
yes.
the webinar for this?
Yes, it's Sunday. It will be webinar for India, for Mr. Birdi's webinar, 6:30 India Standard Time. So it will be Moscow time or Kuwait time, 4:30 p.m. So 4:30 p.m. Sorry, 4 p.m.
4 p.m. in Kuwait time, huh? Moscow time and Kuwait time is the same.
Yes, exactly. So 4 p.m. Sunday, it will be another very interesting.
Mr. Dmitry.
Yes.
I have one question.
Mm-hmm.
You can explain about objective of the solar group.
Okay. Sure, I will reopen the slides. Just 1 second.
I mean, what is the future, next future? Okay, this plan is finished, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next plan,
yeah.
What is the next of development?
Okay, I understand. Actually, first is we need to complete the financing for this project, for Duyunov's Motors project. It's the first and the closest objective. Secondly, as a next step, it's after this, the company is reviewing and considering another projects. In the meantime, also we have the project development department headed by Mr. Fedor Konstantinov, and I can put in chat also the contact of his email. And it means that once any company in the world have something interesting, something really potentially breakthrough technology, or maybe great new project to be introduced to the market, and want to have to raise capital for it, it can actually write to the company, to Solar Group company, and Solar Group can review it. And many projects are right now also requesting such financing from Solar Group. But it's hard to go through this filter, hard to go through this approval. Why? Because even with Duyunov's Motors, it took about 1 year, about 12 months to go through all these various steps to approval, because these potential projects that in the future we can consider need to have first great ideas that can be applied not just in a very small niche market, but maybe in our everyday life. As the motor, we apply even in motor, even in scooters, even in our mobile phones, even in air conditioner systems, so everywhere in the pumps. So it's very huge market. It's the same with new projects. We need it to be very available for large markets. Secondly, it needs to have the good and positive impact on for the life of the people. So it either is green technology or something that should improve the lives of many people. And thirdly, it should be economically sustainable, economically profitable. So these three options, when the project has all the three requirements, meeting all these three requirements, it can be considered and can be after the successful completion of all the steps. Hope I don't know if this reply is what you asked.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm. So basically, the second project could be connected with the production of the electric motors in a mass scale. Once the first project will be actually completed. If you write me privately, I will send you. We have had a conference with this person already, with a webinar with Mr. Fedor, who explained what can be the next projects, number 3, 4, and so on, and what are actually the phases, step by step, which needs to be satisfied in order to have these future projects. But in any case, after Duyunov's motors, the Solar Group is planning to have the second and other projects in the future. And the great advantage, maybe I don't know if your team know about this, that all the structure, your work which already you have to date will be taken to the second and third project. So this means that whatever structure you have, it will pass to the following projects with you, and you will just from the back office maybe choose the investment into project number 1 or number 2, up to it will be up to investor which way to go. Right now it's just one option, but in the future there will be multiple selection, but not yet, because right now we fully concentrate on just reaching this goal first, reaching this objective for Duyunov's motors to fully support him. And then after the successful, maybe when it will be 90% or 95%, we can introduce it. When it will be maybe a couple of months till the end, then we can introduce the second project easily. And all the participants, all the partners and investors will say, okay, it's now we understand that you're not launching 5 projects altogether, but one at a time. You launch in first one, then after it's successfully completed, then you launch in the second. So not to spread concentration also in terms of the management team for the main.
That will be great. That will be great.
This is our idea.
So that all we can invest into it.
People will more trust actually. If one project is finished, then next project will start. Then people will understand about that one. Yeah, this is genuinity here actually.
Yeah.
So there'll be more of trust in it.
Company decision.
Yes. There are many projects. So for all of the investors, it's important to consider to take as much information from open sources as possible, because some of the projects, they have nice websites, they have good explanation, but maybe they don't have the team or don't have the capacity, don't have equipment. So it depends from case to case. So you need to really go deep and to ask more information. The more information you ask, the better you understand and have less risk than in this case. Here we try to to show more transparency, and even the management of the company is participating into webinars. They are actively involved in this process. They answer directly the partners' questions via the chat and so on. So in my experience, it has been very positive here, and we always resolve some issues which can arise. Some technical issues, it's just it can happen. It's important how company is reacting, whether it has resolving, then it's a good way. So if anyone has other questions, otherwise
Mr. Joachim.
Yeah.
Yes, Dr. Anil, tell me.
I am giving more information compared to you actually. So I am saying you can ask more question to authentic person. Now you can ask.
No, you are giving asking the information that is better, because you should know better than me. I can understand. You will be asking those questions. That's why I put you on the webinar today, because I know that you would ask questions.
Of course, I am researching too much, so obviously I will ask more questions.
But it is good. It is good. At least through your researches, we also come to know what you're asking for.
Actually, I have a question myself to you about maybe in Kuwait. Is it some English is widespread, or is some other local language also is used? Like
here, Arabic and English is 2 languages more common actually. Arabic here, that's a country language, and English is not official even, but it's a community language who is expected for foreign outsider people who came here. to working and doing jobs, they are talking in English actually.
Oh,
and even also the people from India, they talk in Hindi.
Yes, so Hindi could be understood, yes, or it's quite different from Kuwaiti.
Hindi is talked among our people only, but not with the Arabs. The Arabs, they don't talk much of Hindi. They talk more of Arabic.
Okay, Arabic, yes, I understand. Great updates. Hopefully, we'll also restart the live meetings. We have great plans also for India, restart the meetings in India and other countries as well. As soon as the situation, resolves, also Solar Group company is monitoring what's happening with the borders and everything. And then we'll be very open to organize the events in case of interest from point of partners. And even following example of Mr. Gilles Weber, who in Africa, he stayed for several months in order to satisfy all the requirements. And he organized successfully some events in Togo and Benin. And right now on 12th, he will host another meeting. It's available on back office also. Another country will be open.
An office in Togo now.
Exactly, yes. In the French-speaking countries. Francophone countries, as he comes from France, so he's taking care of those regions, those countries.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much. And so whenever you have a need to ask a question, please do in chat. Otherwise, you can collect questions also for Sunday, write me personally or in chat as well. It's no problem. For anything I can respond, I will respond myself. Otherwise, I will contact the management and ask them which is the official point of company. Then they can explain it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dmitry. It was a nice, informative information of the company, where I believe all my partners also have understood about the company now.
Okay.
And they have no other question. But if they have any question, they'll definitely contact you, and we'll have a webinar again.
Great. Thank you very much. I will post also in our WhatsApp chat a link to this transmission. So later,
Please do.
Maybe because I know sometimes the connection is not so good, so people can maybe follow later or when they have free time.
I hope this webinar has been recorded so that at least you can send it and we can send it to some other people also.
Sure. We are doing it every time. Exactly. Actually, on this website, I will just put the one link. On the bottom of this page, solar.group, there is actually a link to social networks for all the languages. So it's for English, for Hindi, for many other languages. It's called Our Social Media. Then you can choose the language and you have the access to all the social media for each language. In Facebook, YouTube, and the Telegram chat, if there is Telegram chat for that language, and the WhatsApp chat. It's all in one place, so it's a good place to look official social networks on this page. All right. Okay, thank you again. Wishing you a great good evening, and talk with you next webinar. And bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Dmitry. Anil Dr.